People think Israel fears Iran because Iran might build one game-over weapon. But that is not the real reason. Israel fears Iran's new military strategy because it is not a single weapon. It is a system. It is a way of fighting that uses time, distance, and pressure like tools. And it is designed to make Israel feel surrounded, even when Israel is still stronger in many direct ways. For a long time, Israel prepared for clear problems with clear answers. A base, a runway, a convoy, a command center. Israel is very good at finding a target, hitting it fast, and ending the threat. Iran knows this. So Iran's newer approach is to avoid giving Israel one clean target and one clean finish line. Instead, Iran tries to create many small problems that connect into one big problem. If Israel swings at one threat, another threat appears somewhere else. If Israel protects one area, pressure moves to another area. This is not about winning one night. It is about shaping the next year. First, Iran is leaning into layered attacks. Think of it like a storm made of different kinds of rain. Some parts are loud and slow. Some parts are fast and hard. Some parts are just there to distract. In modern war, drones can be cheap and numerous. Some can fly low and force radars to track them. Some can act like decoys, meant to pull attention away from the real threat. Then you add rockets, cruise missiles, or ballistic missiles, which travel differently and demand different defenses. When many types arrive close together, defenders must make fast choices. Which is real? Which is bait? Which is the biggest danger right now? Iran does not need everything to hit. Iran just needs the defense to get tired, to waste shots, or to miss one thing at the wrong moment. That leads to the second reason Israel worries, the math of defense. Israel's air defense is advanced, but it is not endless. Each intercept costs money, time, and limited missiles that must be replaced. Crews must stay alert all night. Radars must keep searching. Jets must stay ready. If Iran can send a large number of lower-cost threats, even if most are stopped, Iran can still force Israel into a spending race. Over weeks and months, that becomes a serious problem. It is like making your opponent pay a high fee every time they block a punch, while you pay a small fee to throw the punch. Even if Israel blocks almost everything, the constant cost can strain budgets and stockpiles and push leaders into hard choices about what to protect first. Now, zoom out and look at geography. Israel is small, and that usually helps Israel respond quickly. But it also means there is less space to absorb damage and fewer options to move critical systems far away. Iran's strategy tries to use distance as a weapon. It can apply pressure from multiple directions, not always directly from Iran itself. Israel then has to think about threats coming from the north, the south, the east, and from the sea. Even if only one direction is active on a given day, Israel still has to prepare for the others. That spreads defenses thin. It forces more planes, more sensors, and more units to cover more places. Iran's goal is to make Israel defend wide instead of focusing narrow. The third big fear is the multi-front network. Iran has relationships with armed groups across the region. Some are closer to Iran than others. Some act independently sometimes. But in Israeli planning, what matters is the possibility that pressure can rise in more than one area at once. Israel can handle one front better than multiple fronts. Multiple fronts create timing problems. While Israel responds to one crisis, another crisis can start. Even if each front is limited, the combined effect can stretch Israel's attention and force Israel to keep more forces on standby, instead of using them for one decisive mission. Iran does not need perfect coordination. Iran only needs enough overlap to make Israel feel like the whole map is connected. There's also a gray zone layer that makes everything harder to punish. Gray zone actions are aggressive, but they stay below the level that normally triggers all-out war. That can include cyber attacks, harassment at sea, strikes that avoid mass casualties, or actions where responsibility is unclear. Iran benefits when the picture is blurry. If Israel cannot prove exactly who did what and where it came from, the response becomes harder. A strong response might look risky or unfair to outside observers. A weak response might look like fear. Iran's strategy tries to trap Israel between escalation and restraint, because both choices have costs. And do not ignore the psychological side, because modern war is also about daily life. Iran's approach can create the feeling that calm is temporary. When people believe the next wave could come at any hour, they change how they live. Airports, ports, power stations, and major roads become part of public anxiety. Businesses hesitate, insurance costs rise, politics gets louder and more divided. Leaders face pressure to act fast, and fast decisions can be the most dangerous ones. Iran is not only trying to damage objects, Iran is trying to stress decision-making, because stressed decision-making creates mistakes. One more thing makes this strategy feel even more serious: learning. Every exchange teaches lessons. If a drone gets intercepted early, the attacker learns what the radar saw and how fast the response came. If a missile slips through, the attacker learns where the gap was. If a defense fires many interceptors, The attacker learns how the defender prioritizes targets. Over time, Iran can adjust routes, timing, and combinations. That means even failed attacks can still improve the next attempt. Israel knows this, so Israel cannot treat each incident as separate. Israel has to assume the other side is collecting data, testing limits, and refining the playbook. So why does Israel fear Iran's new military strategy? Because it aims at Israel's strengths in a smart way. Israel is built for speed, precision, and clean endings. Iran is trying to remove clean endings. It is trying to turn security into a constant workload and a constant bill. It is trying to make defense feel endless and to raise the chance that one day, one small slip happens at the worst time. The most important point is this: Israel does not fear Iran because Israel is weak. Israel fears Iran's strategy because it is designed for endurance. It is designed to keep pressure steady, to use cheap tools in large numbers, to create many directions of risk, and to force Israel to defend more than it wants to. And in a long contest, even very strong countries can crack if they are forced to sprint every day. If you want to spot this strategy in real time, do not only watch for one massive strike. Watch for patterns, waves instead of one hit, mixed weapons instead of one weapon, pressure from several angles instead of one front, and actions that create confusion instead of clear blame. That is the new playbook, and that is why Israel takes it seriously.